All right, today we are going to pull back the curtain on a single powerful secret. It's a truth that can completely flip the dynamic in a relationship with a narcissist. Honestly, once you see this, you can never, ever unsee it. So let's dive in. So does this question right here hit a little close to home? That gut feeling of being trapped, of truly believing that your life would just crumble without this person. It's an incredibly common feeling in these dynamics. But what if I told you that entire feeling is built on a complete and total illusion? And that leads us right into our first section, the illusion of control. This is the bedrock of the whole relationship, but the foundation, well, it's not at all what it seems. Okay, so here's the number one goal, the main strategy for a narcissist. It's to project their own intense neediness right onto you. They put all their energy into making you believe that you are the needy one, that you need them for everything, stability, love, you name it. But it is a carefully constructed lie. And that lie brings us directly to the absolute core of this whole explainer. It's time to pull back the curtain on a narcissist's biggest secret. And here it is. It's this simple. The absolute truth of the situation, in the words of self-aware narcissist Lee Hammock, is this. They need you. You don't need them. Just let that sink in for a second. The entire power dynamic you've been living under, it's a complete reversal of reality. You see, in reality, they are completely and utterly dependent on you. They need you to validate them just to feel like they exist. They need you so they can copy your personality, model your behaviors. Because underneath it all, there's often just this profound emptiness. You are, in a very real way, their source code. So why? Why is this need so incredibly intense? Well, that brings us to a concept that is absolutely key to understanding all of this, the need for supply. So what in the world is narcissistic supply? Think of it as their psychological fuel. It's any kind of attention, good or bad, admiration, validation, even your emotional reactions to their drama. That's all fuel they use to prop up their incredibly fragile self-esteem. Without it, they just can't function. And where does this bottomless pit of need come from? It's not because they love themselves too much. It's the exact opposite. It comes from this deep, internal void where self-love and self-worth should be. Since they can't create it for themselves, they have no choice but to try and extract it from you. This slide here, with the car analogy, just nails it perfectly. Think of a narcissist as a high-performance car, and their supply, that's the gasoline. As you can see, with gas, the car runs, it has power, it goes where it wants. But what happens when you take the gas away? The car just stops. It's powerless, dead on the side of the road. That is exactly what happens to a narcissist when their supply gets cut off. And this right here, this explains everything, doesn't it? When you pull away, or you go no contact, or you just stop giving them that attention they crave, you're literally cutting off their fuel line. And that's why they totally lose their minds. The engine is sputtering, it's dying, and that's why you see those extreme, frantic, sometimes aggressive reactions. They are desperate to get that fuel turned back on. Okay, so if they're the desperate ones, how on earth do they convince you of the complete opposite? Well, let's get into the tactics. Let's talk about how they manufacture this false dependency. They basically run a playbook with a few key moves. First up, emotional manipulation. They work hard to get you deeply attached, to make you feel like they're the only person on earth who gets you. Then there's financial control. They might subtly or not so subtly convince you to quit your job or let them handle all the money. And of course, there's isolation. They slowly, systematically cut you off from your friends, your family, your support system, until they're all you have left. Every single move creates a problem that only they can solve. So knowing all this is one thing, but what do you actually do with this information? Well, that brings us to the most important part of all, how to reclaim your power. The strategy is actually surprisingly simple in concept, even if it's not always easy to do. The key to breaking free is to figure out exactly what it is they need from you, that specific type of supply you're providing, and then you cut it off. So this really boils down to a clear 3-step strategy. Let's walk through it. Step 1, identify what they need. Get brutally honest with yourself. Pinpoint the exact supply they're getting from you. Step 2, recognize the supply type. Giving it a name gives you power. Is it money? Is it you being their emotional cheerleader? Is it sex? And finally, step 3, The most important one: turn off the faucet. Once you know what it is, you strategically, methodically stop giving it to them. And what does this supply look like in the real world? Well, it can be a lot of different things. It could be straight up financial support. It could be emotional validation, where you're just their constant cheerleader. Sexual attention is a big one. Or maybe it's just the stable home life you provide that they actually get a thrill from disrupting. Sometimes they're even feeding off of your good reputation or your friends. The first step is just figuring out which one or ones it is. And here is the beautiful result of this strategy. When the car runs out of gas, what does the driver do? They don't just sit there forever, right? They get out and they go find another gas station. It's the same thing here. When a narcissist can no longer get their fuel from you, they will very often be the ones to leave. That discard that you might be terrified of is actually the proof that you successfully took your power back. And I really want you to hold on to this thought because it is so, so important. Just because someone needs you, that does not mean you owe them your life or your happiness. Remember this: they can need you and also not deserve you. Both of those things can be true at the very same time. Their need doesn't create an obligation for you to stay and get hurt. So, here's the final takeaway: the power they seem to have over you has always, always been an illusion. Their power is your supply. So the real question isn't, how can I survive without them? The real question is, what happens when you decide to leave them completely and totally powerless?